All right, Shalom. This is Hard One by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp, right here in Jacksonville, Florida. What is it called? Halayim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Harakah Kodash Mahamath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. It's going to be just a quick lesson, a little hydration, dealing with order amongst these camps. The mindset of, from the view of a leader of a camp, you have new people that show up to your camp, over years, or and when you first meet a brother, you'll see you from the view of leadership, you see their growth, you see their shyness when it comes to speaking or the knowledge. You see their lack thereof, what they don't know, and you're able to edify, to help build that person up, that individual up. And they have a certain level of respect to enter your camp. Just like people coming into your house, they respect you, but then they get in your house, they act like Dave Chappelle, like F your couch. Remember that? Acting like Rick James. Put the feet up on your couch and all kinds of stuff with shoes on. With that mindset, that would be an error, So I want to get a couple, maybe like 2 scriptures with that in mind, because you got to listen to the people when you first meet a brother or a man, however you want to look at it, and you say, hey, I want to join your camp, and then that person says, yeah, you can join, but you got to take notes, come out here, keep taking notes, go through the process, right? So we tell people to stand on the other side to test them, because if they're not willing to stand out there with us, then they're not willing to teach with us. They'll fade off after a while, or they might not show up to camp. Or you might say, hey, grab a sign or put the signs out for everybody. They might have an attitude that shows their pride, because this is all, people forget that this setup, this theatrical setup that we're doing, this theater, this play that we're acting out, between good and evil, our part is to play the part of what? Prophets. And when we out there at camp, we're on stage, man. We're setting up an altar. You gotta think about that. All hands on deck. Like in this camp, there's a brother named Yahawasop. Since he first joined the camp, and he's older than me, he's been nothing but humble. Which lifts him up even higher, because the scriptures say the meek shall inherit the earth, right? Because Jake is always in that mindset. They wax fat, then they kick. They grow in land and people and resources and position or whatever, and then they begin to kick and rebel. And this is what we don't want, because a brother like I was speaking of, Ephraimite brother in the camp, Yahawasop, since he's been in the camp, first thing he does is what? Grab signs, start putting them out, holding the camera. See, these are the important people that help things flow. All right? It's called taking initiative and responsibility. All right? Within a camp, within a house. All right? And so these are things to watch for in these camps. Or a brother that joins a camp and you meet him and he's very kind and listening every word you say, but then once they get in, they grow for a few weeks and they real quiet. When they they main one talking. But then you ask them to do a breakdown and they can't. So that's why it's good To be humble. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start with this scripture with that in mind. Hold on. Here we go. This is it. All right. Proverbs 10 and 19. That's what I was looking for. It says, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin, man. If you talk too much, you may go off on the doctrine, and that's not what we want to do. You know, the Lord said what? By every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account for at the day of judgment. So sometimes you may slip of the tongue, but you got to be able to know when you slipped. So that's why you got to have elders in the camps. You know, what you would call deacons or bishops, people that are supposed to grow. When you get in this script, in this truth, you're supposed to grow in the wisdom. You're supposed to grow in the doctrine, grow in the breakdowns, not grow in speaking more or grow in poking your chest out. You know, that's a recipe for destruction. Of course, you're going to have a certain amount of dignity and different demeanor about you. But you can tell that off spirit, man. When you tell a brother something, let me stick to this point real quick. It says, in the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise, man. So somebody just talking, saying the earth is flat, running their mouth. But somebody that's willing to listen and being patient and waiting for their opportunity to speak, you know. Matter of fact, this is Sirach 19, 4. He that is hasty to give credit is light-minded. And that's what I've learned in my walk. When somebody walks up, you might be happy that a fish jumped out of the water, you know. Because that's what we are. We're fishers of men. And we look for that in this truth for brothers and sisters to wake up. But when they do, got to be not quick to credit that person. Give them time. Tell them to take notes. You know, take a low position in the camp once they come on the other side. You see somebody start working their way towards the middle, trying to be on camera all the time. Like, you got to watch for that, because that's a vanity spirit. You know, you would rather, you can tell when somebody's trying to find Yahweh Shai, man. Get closer to the Lord, because they want to get closer in the wisdom. They want to get closer in the walk. They're doing everything with a purpose, right? So this is the mindset to have. And he that sinneth shall offend against his own soul. All right. Verse 6, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil, man. So you got to be able to rule your tongue, control yourself, and be patient. This is Sirach 20 and 5. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, man. So in any situations, you know, even if you're in an argument, it's better to be the one that's silent. So you can hear what's going on, so you can hear what the problem is, and then you rebuttal when the opportunity is right. Or when you're out there teaching, or when you're at work, or when you're in a room full of people, and it's time to speak. You know, you can be the first one, or sometimes it's good to be the last one to speak. Right? Waiting for your opportunity. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, man, especially when you're in the house of the Lord, when you're out there teaching. You know, you want to speak, but you want to do it moderately. And you want to do it, season it with salt, meaning with the word, with the spirit. You know. And another, by much babbling, becometh hateful. Some man holdeth his tongue, because he have not to answer, right? And some keepeth silence, knowing his time, meaning they got more self-control. Some people, they don't know what to say, but some people are afraid of that. Like, I gotta keep talking, I gotta speak, because they're gonna think I'm stupid. They're gonna think they got over on me. No, you gotta breathe and be calm, be still. All right, and give, like, what is Jackie Chan? He said, let people talk, because then they show how stupid they really are. All right. And another, by much babbling, becometh hateful. Some man holdeth his tongue, because he have not to answer, and some keepeth silence, knowing his time. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. Just be out of order, just talking, you know. And it's better to listen, because then you can hear the precepts that's coming out. You can hear the topic that the Spirit moving on, because sometimes we be moving at camp, and the topic changed so quick. So when you're new in these camps, you gotta, what I had to learn too when I first started teaching was you had to learn how to match the precepts with the current topic, not just bringing out any precept you want to bring out. You know, these things are important. Not, you know, so just certain things I'm thinking about novices, and that's what a person is once they enter or are recruited, a new recruit. That's what the word novice means, a new recruit. So once you get newly recruited into a camp, onto the spirit, onto the truth, there should be a certain respect, a certain amount of, just respect, man, for what you're doing and the people that you're joining. And then that respect should continue. It should echo over the years. And the best thing to do in this truth and in anything in life is to know where you're at, so you can know what level you're on. Don't come up with some preconceived imaginary level that you think you're on over the people out there that sleep. But where are you in your walk? Where are you amongst your peers as far as the wisdom? And that's where you start from, and you grow from that. If you're a babe, be a babe. You know, so you can grow correctly through the proper nourishment of the spirit to a man in the truth. And not to grow rebellious or prideful, and being a novice lifted up. It says, right, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. He that useth many words shall be abhorred, man. And he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. See that? So you can't take your authority. You got to know your place. All right, that's why the Lord said this. Hebrews 13:17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves. All right, so you're not worshiping that person, the heads of these camps, but you're obeying them. Like, he might say, yo, don't deal with this woman. Or, hey, that's the woman? Okay, I've met a woman. Like, or you might come to them with an issue. Say, hey, man, my woman tripping, this and this and this. And you just say, hey, don't do this. Don't get her pregnant. Because she's going to be that type of woman that will get you. Don't, not all women, I'm talking about the wicked ones. You can tell once you go through it. You can be able to tell the next person not to do it. Don't, if you go to this job, don't let them control you. Tell them you teach on weekends and that you're an Israelite, and they'll leave you alone. By law, they have to do that. So you have to challenge that. You have to take that person's advice and do it. Other than that, you won't be showing up to camp. You'll give up, and then eventually, you're just not teaching anymore. It's crazy, man. So you got to listen to the heads of your camp, especially if they're experienced, and you see that they're walking this truth. You can't listen to everybody, but if you show up with respect to a camp and you say, I want to join, and I see you as a leader, and then once that person begins to lead you, you like, all right, get off me. What are you talking about? I'm a man. It's like, all right, you can graze in that grass over there, and I graze in this grass over here. How about that? It's not saying you're done with that person. You saying, yeah, you can still do your thing, but just do it over there. Be a man. And then you see that, like, damn, they just give up once it's on them because they don't respect your walk and this truth and what it took. Because you make it look easy, but it really was tough. It was hard. It was a climbing up of a mountain, digging the fingers into the damn ground, climbing. But then when you get to the top, that's when people want to meet you and say, hey, that was easy, huh? Shit. All right. Obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves. It's got to be intentional. You don't have to be like, Kanapan Kanser, Kanapan Kanser, ain't like that. You know, not like Bishop Nathaniel being exalted on a horse, but more so respect and admiration towards each other. And coaching and student, and pupil, being a disciple. For they watch for your souls, and that's the point. You're not supposed to have a lot of money and giving money out to everybody. And yeah, you need something. I'm a prophet in the truth. I got you. You need $100. You need $50. You ain't gotta have all that. That's why Peter said that. This is what I have. This is all I have to give you. Money I have not. For they watch for your souls, and that's important. I'm telling you things that's going to protect your spirit. You got to think about it. When a man in this truth says, "Hey, man, I wouldn't deal with her, yo, if I was up to you, if it was you, if I was you. But hey, do your thing. You know what I mean? Only because you're telling me this happened, and this happened. Judging by that trend, I would fall back. You know, not telling you what to do with your relationship, but if you saying this is happening, then I would move. I would trust the scriptures and do boo, 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 boo. But then that person doesn't listen, or you know, you tell people certain things in the camp, and then they regret it later, and then they talk to you like it never happened. Like, yo, no, I'm the one that told you. So, you know, I'm not gonna give you that opportunity. Fool me once, fool me twice. You know, shame on me, but fool me three times, I deserve it. All right? For they watch for your souls, man. They're watching out for your soul. If they're sincere. As they that must give account, man. We got, you know, that they may do it with joy. And that's the point. You want a brother in this truth or elder of your camp to guide you with joy, not coming up to you saying something, you got an attitude, or you like buck up, you know, or you say, hey man, can you stand over here, and they give you a look, or they say hold your peace, and you still got to say your word, talking all over, messing up the program, all these, you know, so that they may do it with joy, not you running all over the world and chasing after these women, and the brother told you not to, or chasing after these jobs, or getting into fights, you know, whatever, violence, and somebody tell you not to, and then you still don't listen. That person was watching for your soul, man. That they can do it with joy and not with grief, man. That's the point. For that is unprofitable for you. See, there's going to be a cutoff point. At some point, it's going to become undeniable and noticeable. And then it's going to have to be rebuked and reproved. Look at that. This is Proverbs 10 and 17. He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, man. So you keep the instructions. You know, you're in the way, just like Mandalorian. The way, right? You're in the way of life. That's the that's the path to life. That's the yellow brick road. Staying on the right path. He that is in the way of life, he is in the way of life that keepeth instruction. But he that refuses reproof, they're in error. All right, they erreth. So they're going off. If you refuse that reproof, that blame, you know. This is 1 Corinthians 14. I'm going to start from verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or a spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord. All right, so just like you got Zechariah and I'm saying that Paul was not a man of the Lord. I mean, he wasn't saying thus saith the Lord, but he was speaking the words from Yahweh, the words of our Father, Yahweh. All right. And what they taught us are the commands of the Lord, man. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy, and forbid not to speak with tongues, you know, breaking things down in the spirit, in the Hebrew. Let all things be done decently and in order. All right, so everything you do in this walk and in this truth, let it be done decently, with an amount of decency, man, and in order. In order. All right, we got to find out what the order is, and you got to, when you go into a job, you can't just do what you want. You'll get fired or suspended. So in this case, with a camp, it's not just showing up to a camp to find food, showing up to a camp to just laugh and joke. No, you're in a business, man. This is a business. And we're dealing with the Lord's money. We're dealing with life and death. So it has to be order and structure to it. It's a house that's being built. All right. This is 1 Timothy 3:6. Be not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil, man. See that? So you don't want to be lifted up in the camp. Once you get into a camp and you call yourself in the truth and you're real humble and you're being on point, having order, where you want me to stand at? All right, cool. No, I'll stand in the back. All right, yeah. And, need me grab any signs or anything? Or you need? But then once time goes by or a few months, people feel like they're a super prophet, and they begin to get prideful, and they don't listen anymore. And you start to tell them things, they say, "What, you think you better than me?" That's the energy. It's not that. It's just that brother that's over your camp. If he's sincere, they're supposed to be watching over your soul. Be not a novice, lest being lifted up. All right, novice means what? Newly recruited, and then they buck up, or they lift themselves up. It's the Most High that's supposed to give the increase in the wisdom and the water. Lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have good report of them which are without, meaning the brothers in the camps. You want to have good report amongst your brothers, not carrying a bad name wherever you go. Because those brothers are forced to tell the truth. So if somebody asks them something about you, you're like, damn, yeah, I don't have nothing good to say. I can't front. Good brother though, but when it comes to this business, nah, he ain't do right. That's gonna carry it with you unless you fix it. All right? You gotta want to fix it though. You can't blame everybody else for telling you to fix it. When you scar people and you don't go back to heal them, they'll get healed by the Lord. Because that's their job, to carry that to the Most High and say, I forgive that brother. Lord, please heal me so I can move forward. But then your job, if you scarred that person, is to go up to him and say, hey, where did I hurt you at? Let me help you heal it. And he'd be like, no, it's already healed. I forgive you. Thank you, though. You see that? Yeah, man, I remember you said this or did that. You don't want to be like, no, that ain't happened. No, they liars. That's making it worse. Instead of saying, yeah, that was me. I did wrong. And I've changed now. And I want to do better. That's knowing where you're at. That's growing. That's growth. All right? Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach, blame, and the snare of the devil. Of the deceiver, man, especially amongst these wicked women. You trust these women over your camps, you're going to fall into that snare. You're going to fall into the snare of deception of these jobs or anything. You say, hey, man, they won't let me show up to camp, so I'm sorry. Nah, that's your walk. It affects the camp because they like, damn, so we don't have to show up. So it can make others weak. And it's up to the leader of that camp to say, you know what, let's cut that branch off, man, so we can move forward and grow as a tree. You know, it's stumping our growth. That's why you got to show up to camp. You can't blame it on your job. No, that was your choice. I've lost so many jobs not because they had the threat of not being able to show up to camp on Saturdays. You know? So there's no excuse, man. You got to show up, even if it ain't on time, but you got to be there. All right? And you got to challenge your job. You got to say, hey, I'm an Israelite. I can't come in on Saturday. Well, you'll be fired. Well, you'll be sued for that. You shouldn't have hired me. I'll see you in court. As long as it ain't on Saturday. All right? I'm going to end up with this. 1 Peter 1 and I'll start from 1. The elders which are among you, I exhort. An elder just means zakwana, which means bearded, or saying grown in the truth, spiritual. You know, it's supposed to be spiritual. Just because somebody got gray hairs, that doesn't make them your elder. But in this walk of ours, you grow from a babe to an adolescent into an adult. But in that adolescent stage, that's when people become rebellious. You know? The elders, I look at elder as this, man, not a stack of pennies. Imagine you had a stack of pennies or quarters on your table, and you stack them up. Somebody say, I'm the elder, I'm on the top. That to me, that puts pressure below. So I would take that stack of quarters and lay them sideways. And there's no difference between the one on the end, or either end. We're equal, meaning we are both believers in this truth, and we want to be delivered first. But there's still order in the truth, meaning that first quarter was there first. Or if you see somebody at a watering hole and they're drinking, you don't want to walk up and just start digging a cup in. You want to ask that person, say, hey, where do I put my cup? Where can I drink from? Oh, don't drink right there, man. I just seen something a bird shit right there. You got to drink over here. But a prideful person, they're going to go up, just stick their cup in the water and start drinking. You see that? So that's what an elder is. Somebody that was, he said this thing is so narrow that only one man can go through at once. That puts us in order, you know, in line. All right? So that person that was there first, you got to listen to him and trust him on how to drink the water. Or them, not just him, or them, you know, the people. Whoever's over these camps. The elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder. See, Peter was an elder too. So that's like right now, I'm giving exhortation for elders, and I'm an elder myself. This is the truth. And a witness of the sufferings of Yahweh Shai, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. For feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof. So that's our position, is to take the oversight, meaning take the position of shepherding our people, feeding the flock with his word. All right, showing that we love the Lord's people. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Hey, Peter, do you love me? Well, feed my sheep. All right, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, so it ain't gonna be forced, but willingly. All right, you gotta be intentional to overlook the camp. If you're a deacon, if you're a bishop, you can't be distracted. You gotta take oversight over the camp and say, hey man, this gotta be fixed, y'all. Let's get this together. I know how it's supposed to be because I've been in this camp long, so you gotta do it this way. And it'd be smart for you to grab signs because it shows you humility. To who? The elders in this camp and the other brothers. And not only that, it helps you start from the bottom and then really grow. You know? And then also it shows your humility in front of the Lord, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai. All right? Not for filthy lucre, so you're not supposed to take the oversight of the camp to try to make money off the camp. You see that? How can I get money from everybody? Oh yeah, we'll do tithes and offerings every week, and then we get a 501c3 charter, and I become $250 million man. Bring me your money. Filthy lucre. But instead, what? Take the oversight over your camp and be of a what? A ready mind, you know. Having a ready mind, studying to show yourself approved, apt to teach, ready to give answer to the brothers. You're watching over their soul through your experiences, through wisdom from the scriptures, you know, through knowledge, and also the breakdowns, the doctrines, the prophecies. Neither as being lords over Yahweh's heritage, right? Some people think they already in the chariot, the way they be talking to people out here, man. I kick your ass out. You know what I'm saying? But some people act like they're already on the chariots, or they act like you're their property. No, it's just saying, yo, you need some guidance, I'm here. Yahweh Ratazah, you need any breakdowns, I got you. But if you don't listen, shit. My phone don't work as of today. I changed my number. I changed it many times. You know, so neither as being lords over Yahweh's heritage, but what? Being examples to the flock. And that's the goal, man. You got to follow the examples. All right? You'll see me at camp. Even though I'm over this camp, I'll be getting signs. I'll hold the camera. I'll stand on the end holding posts. You'll see me in different positions, even though I know I'm the head of the camp. Why? Because it shows them an example of how they should be. And when I see other brothers not moving in that spirit, I'll tell them. If they still don't get it, I start watching them. Because that's not a true brother right there. They got their own agenda. So that person, you watch them and you say, hey, I don't mind helping you grow, but guess what? I'm helping you grow so you could be on your own, since you want to do your own thing. I still help you grow, because we can do nothing against the truth but for the truth, and our whole goal is to get out of here. So if you don't want to listen to me, you're either wicked or you just want to do your own thing. So go do your own thing. But when you get out there, you better do it for your own salvation. You see that? So neither as being lords over Yahweh's heritage, but being examples to the flock, man. We got to be examples to the flock. All right? Don't let them see you sweat. You know? It's like being around children and they see fear on you. They're going to get scared. You know? So our job is to be examples in our households. And in the truth, our job is to be examples of meek humble meaning teaching, doing the work diligently. We have to be examples like Elder Apostle Tahar, and the elders of GMS, like Elder Apostle Ryan Lab, Elder Apostle Gabar, Elder Rakah, so on and so on. They've shown diligence. They're perfect examples of diligence and discipline. So that's what I watch for with them. And stand in the truth, stand in that way. They're the examples. All right. That's one thing I say in life, man. Find you a mentor in whatever path or arena you entered into. All right. So not as being lords over Yahweh's heritage, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd, see, we're doing this for the top shepherd, Yahushua, shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. That's the goal. Wow. Likewise, ye younger, see, that's to the elders, but now to the younger men that come into the truth. All right. Submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another. So that's the everything be done decently and in order. And that person watching for your soul, so you want them to do it with joy and not with grief. We submit ourselves one to another. So if somebody was in this camp before you, you should trust that and listen to that person. That's why I say the perfect spitting examples in this camp that I recall is the brother Yahweh Sap, Puerto Rican, Ephraimite, if y'all see him teaching sometime, and Kanak, in this camp. The deacon or the bishop of this camp, meaning the person that's supposed to oversee the camp. If I say this and he go tell them, or they got any answers, sometimes they have to bring it to me, a question, they can go to him. Or the person that's most studied in the camp, certain individuals, they grow in the wisdom quicker. You can send younger brothers to them, So this is how positions get created and levels get created, man, by people wanting to push and grow and be used by the Lord. All right. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder in your camps. Elders, meaning the ones before you. Yea, all of you be subject one to another. And not just in word, not just in lip service, though. Nah, in your actions, man. And in your lip service, in your words, in your respect towards each other. And be clothed with humility, man. You see that? Clothe yourself with humility. Or you embarrassed? Well, that's called humility, man. You gotta be humiliated in this truth. I'm a man. Yeah, you can be a man over there. Basically, when somebody say that, they're basically being what? Carnal. They say, I'm carnal. So be clothed with humility. Let's see what humility is real quick. All right, humility means humiliation of the mind, modesty, the having a humble opinion of oneself, a deep sense of one's littleness. Wow, man, knowing your place, knowing how low you are on the totem pole, so you can grow and be at the top. Not being a novice, not being prideful. The Lord said, be as little children when you come into this truth, man. All right. Humility, lowliness of mind. Right, man. The Lord said He's with the meek and the lowly. The people that take the low position until they get exalted. For Yahweh, verse 5, right? For Yahweh resisteth the proud, man. So if you're proud, for the Lord not going to really deal with you. What's pride? appearing above others. Appearing. I mean, you just look like somebody that's above everybody, but you're not. You see that? You're putting on a front. All right? Haughty. Showing oneself to be what? Above others. Overtopping, conspicuous, above others, preeminent. All right? With an overweening estimate of one's means or merits. Despising others or even treating them with contempt, being haughty, man. And you got a lot of people that got lifted up in these camps, man. And they shouldn't have been. And because they were haughty and they were proud. And they made themselves to look like they was over others. And then they later were called elders. I witnessed it. But it was really some prideful ass demons. One good example is the guy named La'al War from Mississippi. They got put out of GMS. Or somebody that get in this camp here and they grow in the precepts, just like a damn church pastor. They know the precepts, but they don't know the doctrine and the breakdowns. And they may know a few breakdowns, but then they begin to treat the rest of the camp like shit. I don't care how far we walk down the road together, we will part ways at that point. All right. And the Lord giveth grace to the humble, man, humbling yourself. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh. That's what we are. We become the hand of the Lord. So we humble ourselves under the governance of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the chief shepherd and the governor of our souls, and the king Yahweh, who gave us a king Yahushua. And the kingdom has to have what? Order. He said the kingdom of heaven is within you. So we're going to have order. We're going to be out there like soldiers. We're going to be out there as intellectuals, wise men, God's men, Yahweh's men of the Lord. What does that mean? That means being priest. What are we dealing with? The altar. When we go out there and teach, you setting up an altar, man. So there's rules to it. There's examples being set. All right. So now, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time. Casting all your care upon him, for he cared for you, man. He already set everything up. He set camps up. He set wise counsel up for you. You know, so it's showing the Lord's care. All right. Gave you examples, mentors, keep you from that could keep you from making mistakes in this walk. That's why we do these lessons. Let me get that. Right. So this is Hebrews 3:19, 3:13. No, I'm starting from 12. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief, in departing from the living God, man. You stop teaching because of your woman, or you stop teaching because of the world, or stop teaching because of your job. Yeah, you're in unbelief. Or you start doubting, having questions, all these questions like, you sure this is true? Well, I watched this the other day, or watching different, having itching ears. Right? Or you say, I'm not a man of the Lord, man. Maybe the Lord ain't dealing with, well, you're doubting. You need to just do the work, man. For real. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart. Man, it's evil to think that way. Of unbelief, to not believe. In departing from the living power, Yahweh. But exhort one another daily. See, That's why we exhort each other daily. We put me in basically doing these lessons online and teaching each other. Why? While it is called today, they say the past is gone, the future is a mystery, and the present is a gift. So in the present, this moment, is good to have the ambition or the being apt to teach. So exhorting one another, that means to what? Exhortation. To call near, to invite, invoke. All right? To call to one's side, call for, summon, to address, speak, to call upon, which may be done in the way of exhortation, entreaty, comfort. So we comforting each other daily. Instruction, I mean, we're putting up these lessons, and lessons play all day, all night. And you're going to be doing lessons continually, To admonish, exhort, to beg, meaning to what? Crying out for our people, to wake up and to continue. All right, so yeah, man, to exhort each other. It says, but exhort one another daily, meaning do the work, while it is called today, right? Because in the kingdom, we're not going to be teaching, man. We're supposed to be teaching now. Now is the time for your testimony. Not blaming anybody else, but looking in the mirror and saying, it's your fault. You need to tighten up. And you need to tighten up right now. Not pointing at everybody else and setting it up so you can blame them when you just falling into a pit and a setup or the trap of the devil. Following the wrong people down these dark-ass tunnels until you get to the bottom and you make everybody else your enemy, and then you find out that was the devil that you was following. Or with these jobs or whatever. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened. See, mess around, start hardening your heart through the deceitfulness of sin, man. All right, so that's the goal. That's why we do these lessons, so this word can be a light to our path, man. You see that? So before something even happens, it says, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Meaning all the drama and wickedness and evil that comes throughout the day, the Lord gave us sufficient help that we need to get through it, and the spirit that we need, and the comfort, and the wisdom, and the light, so you don't step on a damn rat or step on some glass or step into a ditch while you're on your path in this dark place, man. Gave you a flashlight called the Word of Truth. Gave you a team called the camp, and brothers and sisters in his word, and elders, so and examples. So that's it, man. I'm gonna end it there, man. Hopefully this was edifying, I guess it would be an exhortation to any new brothers that's joining these camps, to any adolescent brother, meaning brothers that become teenagers in this truth, or young adults in the truth. Even if you 80 years old, it don't matter. You're still a babe once you come into this truth. If it's been a year, you're still not growing. You got to grow in the wisdom. You got to grow in the doctrine. You got to grow in the prophecies. You got to grow in the what would it be? The structure of the camp. Knowing how the camp supposed to run. Growing in your life and in your own household, not just being a Israelite when we're out there teaching, but being an Israelite in your personal life. All right? It'll help you create order in your own life, not being a lion in your own household, but being an example. Big difference. So with that, I'm going to end the day. All right, and I'm going to say shalom.